A 4-star power forward and a 7'3" Italian center are on campus at Indiana today. It's time for Darren DeVries to get his first commit.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome, and it is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Well, we've got a lot to get to on the show today. Indiana football, they do it again. Picks up another commit. This time it's a running back, the first one of the 2026 class. We'll talk about him and where the recruiting class is right now for Curt Cignetti. Plus, Darren DeVries adds a Serbian sniper, a Serbian sharpshooter to this basketball team. We'll talk about where the heck this guy came from and why he's such a big addition to this year's team. But today, Tuesday, June 17th, is a big day for Indiana basketball because not one, but two big-time official visitors are on campus starting today. And these are two guys that we have talked about, one a little bit longer than the other because one of them just kind of appeared, right? And pretty hard to do at 7'3". But one guy we've talked about several times is Latrell Allmond. He's on campus today for his official visit, along with the 7'3" Luigi Suigo, who is the Italian center. And so I've told you that I think it truly is a coincidence that these two are on campus at the same time. I think it's just kind of how it worked out, but that's okay. That's a good thing. You get multiple dudes on campus at the same time. Some people might say, no, I want it to be just one-on-one. I want to get all the attention, or maybe even fans would say it that way. It's like, well, are they going to get the right treatment? Are they going to get are they going to get the whole experience if there's somebody else along with them? Absolutely. I think you treat them just the same. You treat it just the same. And then you get two dudes who can kind of talk a little bit and communicate. And sure, you've got one in Latrell Allmond and an Italian kid, right? But I do really think that it's a big deal. And I think it speaks volumes to the other player that there's somebody else there on an official visit as well. And so Latrell Allmond, right? Somebody that I have told you I absolutely love. I think this kid is super special. He's listed as a center in some of his recruiting sites and rankings and things. He's going to play as a forward, okay? He's 6'8", is Latrell Allmond, 6'8", 225 from Virginia. Somebody that has been recruited by Louisville and Georgetown because of what the assistants have done in previous stops. But of course, Indiana has jumped all over him, okay? And he says he loves Indiana. He loves his time. He loves his relationships. He loves Indiana. And I expect this official visit to go really well. Kenny Johnson is the one that he has dealt with during a lot of his time, and I expect this visit to go really good for Indiana. And you are talking about a real possibility of this being your first verbal commit in the class of 2026 if you're Darren DeVries. And this would be an awesome start. Latrell Allmond, again, a 4-star. He's a top 50 player. 247 has him ranked as the 47th overall player. He has center rankings, but again, he's a power forward at the college level. And I think he's a power forward. I think he can play small forward. He can handle the basketball. He can shoot a little bit. I'd like to see that get better. His defense is incredible. And he's just freakishly athletic, okay? That's what he's going to bring to this team. And I think he fits the DeVries system really well because he does all of those things. He runs, he plays defense, and he just flat out gets after it. That's what Darren DeVries is looking for. Guys who are smart, guys who play hard, ones who want to be there in the action. I think Latrell Allmond is that guy. You turn on the film, it's hard to say he's not that guy. And I expect the Hoosiers to roll out the entire red carpet for him today. I expect them to give him everything that he wants. And I'm just speaking just from a gut and kind of reading between the tea leaves here. I think Indiana's where he wants to be. I think it's the biggest offer he has. I think it's the best option for him. And I think it would make total sense for him to become an Indiana Hoosier. Will that happen after the official visit or on the official visit or shortly after? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But I'm telling you, I feel really, really good about Latrell Allmond. He's going to be here today alongside the 7'3" Italian center and Luigi Suigo. We remember this all came about last week, and it was like, oh, Indiana's interested in a 7'3" Italian center. Okay. Oh, they have an official visit set up. Holy smokes. That's in like a week and a half or 2 weeks. How the heck did they pull this off? Well, they aren't the only ones, because I'll remind you, in case you missed this nugget on our last episode about him, he visited Purdue yesterday on Monday, okay? He visited the Boilermakers on Monday, and now he's in town to Indiana for a 2-day visit. Starts on Tuesday, believe it ends Thursday morning or Thursday at midday afternoon, somewhere in there. But he did visit Purdue. Now, I have not seen anything on that just yet. Nothing crazy or any super deep intel on that. I think more will come out after all of his visits are kind of done. He's already taken the official visit to Purdue. Remember, he already took one to Illinois as well. And he has other teams like Kentucky and BYU and Kansas. And a lot of these schools are trying to get in on this kid because they understand just how good he is. And this is a growing trend in college basketball, going overseas and getting significantly talented players. We're going to talk about a dude who has played 3 years of Serbian professional basketball that just joined the Indiana squad late yesterday and today, kind of. I mean, nothing's official, but it's going to be official because the Hoosiers are going overseas to get these kids. I'm so glad that Indiana has kind of jumped in with both feet to this idea, because I think it's genius. I think it's genius to go get these kids. More on that idea in just a little bit. But Luigi Suigo, we've told you, right? He's 7'3", 240 pounds. He's just lengthy and can absolutely ball. I mean, this kid is awesome. He can shoot it from the outside with a really, really nice stroke for a 7'3" guy. Yes, he can play his position in the paint. Yes, he can play defense and block shots. Yes, you can throw him the basketball and just say, hey, drop it in the bucket. But what I've talked about and continue to really, really idolize when I watch his film is the finesse that he has. This is not somebody that's going to rear back and slam it down and scream in your face and do all that mess. He's got a little touch around the rim. He's okay to shoot from 6 feet away and just flick the wrist and watch it sink. I mean, that's what this guy kind of has. He's got really good footwork for a big guy. He's got finesse with his hands. He can get around defenders. He can put it on the floor. Folks, if you give it to him at the high elbow, he'll just put it on the floor and go around you. He's got the ability to shoot over you because, again, he's 7'3", but he's not afraid to just put it on the floor, go right around you, and then just little finger roll to get it off the backboard and go into the basket. I mean, this dude is really, really talented. And when Kentucky and Duke and now Purdue and Illinois and Indiana, when they all want you and you're taking visits to these places, you're probably pretty good. And so I know what the numbers say in terms of us landing a 7'3" kid over Purdue, because that's just what they have specialized in over the years, especially with Matt Painter. But Indiana's here, and you're going to get a visit with him today and tomorrow. I cannot wait to hear how these official visits go, and I'm sticking by my prediction. I think Indiana's getting a commitment very soon, whether it's from Sammy Jackson, whether it's from Latrell Allmond, Luigi Suigo, who are here, or your others that you have coming up over the next couple of weeks. I'm telling you, Indiana's going to get one of these kids, if not multiple of these kids, and it could start right now with Latrell Allmond and Luigi Suigo, whose official visits start today at Indiana. All right, coming up here on Locked On Hoosiers, speaking of recruiting and getting commitments, how about you just get a kid to sign? A Serbian sharpshooter, a professional basketball player from overseas. He's going to be on this year's team. We'll talk about him coming up next right here on the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs. The finals have been awesome. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live. And this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest of playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop closer to tip-off, and with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Game Time is a total game changer. And for those of you who are in the state of Indiana, who are Pacers fans, you've got one more chance to see this team at home in Indianapolis. You need to get on the Game Time app because they've got the best seats, the best prices, and the best customer experience. I use it all the time. I've used it literally dozens of times, and I don't use any of them. I literally deleted all the other ones off my phone. This is the only one. I use Game Time because it is the best. So if you're wanting to go to Game 6 of the finals in Indianapolis, get on the Game Time app. So take the guesswork out of buying those finals tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. All right. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKED. ONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, welcome back into Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. And some news that just kind of popped up for this Indiana team. We've talked a little bit about it. I'm going to go deeper in here in just a second about this idea of getting overseas international players. And we see so often, and really in the last 8 years, I don't know if I'll go as far to say 12, maybe 12 years, but in the last 8 to 12 years, we have seen the international game of basketball really skyrocket. We know that they have been very proud of their basketball in France and in Spain and in Serbia. Like, we understand that it's a big deal to play for your country outside of the United States. It is big to play here, but you get what I'm saying. Like, they love doing that. And we've really seen the game overall outside the United States of basketball really grow and take off over, like I said, probably the last 8 to 12 years. And man, the talent is incredible. And you see it. Look at the Olympics. Look at the Olympics last year. That's the closest, other than 04, when the United States got beat and then ended up getting bronze. That's the closest the world has come to beating the United States in basketball in quite some time. And it was really close. I mean, Serbia's good, France is good, Spain. I mean, there's a lot of teams that are really good. And these college basketball coaches, they started to realize this, and they said, you know what? I think we want some of those players on our team. They're really good shooters. They're really good passers. They have great fundamentals. They don't turn the ball over. They're super respectful, and they just want to play. Maybe we should go and try to dabble our ink pen over there and see what's going on in some of these other countries. And that has caught like freaking wildfire. I mean, it's like a dead tree in the fall, man. It just absolutely took a blaze. And you've seen colleges all over the country start going overseas and trying to get international superstars, international players who have played for years and years, who have 4 years of college eligibility, who are trying to get to the pros. And they said, hey, come play college basketball in the U.S. for a year or two. We'll put you in the pros, but we could really use you. That's kind of the idea with Luigi Suigo, the 7'3" Italian center. And that was obviously the idea with a Serbian sharpshooter. That's what I'm calling him. A Serbian sharpshooter, Serbian sniper, whatever word you want to use. I mean, this kid, or this dude, is awesome. Okay. His name is Aleksa Ristic. I'm going to spell it for you so you can go and look up some of this film for yourself because it's really good. Aleksa Ristic. Okay. Aleksa, Aleksa Ristic, Ristic. Aleksa Ristic, 6'4", 200 pounds guard from Serbia, has played 3 years of the highest level professional Serbian basketball. He's a starting guard for these highest level Serbian basketball teams. And he's going to be an Indiana Hoosier this year. He is now joining the 2025-2026 Indiana basketball team. He'll be the 12th scholarship player that DeVries and his staff, DeVries and company, have added to this upcoming team. And we've been telling you that there was an option, an opportunity, a possibility that Indiana could add one or two more players. We know that you can add up to 15. DeVries doesn't want to do that because once you get over, I believe it's 13, that's when the revenue sharing limitations start to come in. That's when you start to have to take a little bit less because of scholarships and things like that. And DeVries has made it pretty clear that he wants to have 13 and no more so we don't run into those sort of things, right? Those sort of problems. That's where we are. You add this guy, he's now your 12th player. Could you add another one? Maybe. It could be another situation like this, possibly. There were talks about Luigi Suigo possibly reclassifying to 2025. Latest that I've seen is that that's not going to happen, that he is going to be a 2026 kid. And I think that's still probably the case. And so this very well could be it for you. But what a great addition that this guy is. Again, 6'4", 200 pounds, played professionally in the Serbian league. And these stats are from 247. Listen to this. It says he averaged 14 points a game, 4 assists, 3 rebounds while shooting 40% from the three-point line. Let me say those again. 14 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds while shooting 40% from three, 51% from the field, and 86% from the free throw line. Talk about somebody who just flats out gets it done. Talk about a guy who just has it all. This dude is awesome. And you turn on the film and he's smooth as butter, man. He can use both hands when putting the basketball on the floor. Definitely right hand dominant. He loves to get back to the right hand when he's in the lane. He'll put it on the floor with the left, but he likes to get back to the right. So would love to see that left hand kind of get developed a little bit. He's got the pull-up jumper from mid-range. He's got the silky smooth stroke from the outside. It is beautiful. It's just all one big motion. It's like seeing a pretty golf swing, man. You can't stop watching. You can't see it enough. And that's what I was looking at with some of his film in preparation for today's episode. It's just, he's just got it, man. It's just very, very smooth. It's very effortless is the way I would describe it. And I don't know his official turnover numbers, but he is their point guard over there. And I would be willing to bet he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. That's what I love about international basketball, man. They play the game the right way. And he makes the right pass. He makes the right play. He's always in the right spot. He gets up and down the floor. And he's got a little bit of size. So he's going to be able to hang with the best in the Big Ten and around Power 4, Power 5 college basketball. And so all of a sudden, you look at what the Hoosiers have in terms of their guards on this team, okay? You've now got Josiah Miles, the North Florida transfer, Jason Drake, the Drexel transfer. We know Lamar Wilkerson, the Sam Houston transfer, Connor Enright from DePaul. You have Tayton Connerway from Troy, who I absolutely love, 6'3", 190. Nick Dorn, the Elon transfer. And then you've got your couple of walk-ons. You have Jordan Rayford. He is from Air Force, so that's pretty cool. And then Ian Stevens, the walk-on as well. And so, or I guess on the team, yes. But you know what I'm saying. You have guys like Dorn, Connerway, Enright, Wilkerson, Drake, and Miles, who you expect to be in the rotation somehow, some way. But let me go ahead and make this clear. You don't go and get this kid, okay? You don't go get Aleksa Ristic if you don't expect him to play. He will be a part of this year's team roster-wise, technically, yes. He's going to be in the rotation. I'm telling you right now. Because he's raw, sure. He's never played a second of college basketball. Heck, he may not even seen college basketball. He hasn't even visited Indiana. They did this over a Zoom call, over a phone call. They said, hey, man, you want to come play here? And he was like, yeah, cool. That sounds good. A lot of communication with his agent and family, I believe. But they did this over a phone call. They said, yeah, we got it. Come on. We'll take care of you over here in Bloomington, Indiana, USA, baby. And they go and get a Serbian sniper. And I'm telling you, he's going to be a part of this year's rotation. Good news is he may have played multiple years of professional basketball. He may have grown up playing in the Serbian leagues. He's He's got 4 years of eligibility in college. Think about that. He could play here for the next 4 years. He probably won't if he's as good as I think he's going to be, but he has several years of eligibility. So even if he doesn't find his groove this year, because he's not going to be here till like late July, early August, right? He's going to wrap up some play over there and then hopefully be with this team when they make their trip and then into your fall practices and things. But even if it doesn't all click right away, he's got a chance to be here for several years. But I'm telling you, he will be in the rotation. So now this just adds a new wrinkle, a good wrinkle to whatever this rotation is going to look like for Indiana. But Aleksa Ristic, the Serbian sniper, has joined this Indiana team. A 40% three-point shooter will be on this year's roster for 2025 and 2026. Unbelievable, man. All right, coming up on our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers, flipping over to football because Indiana, Kurt Cignetti just keeps getting commits. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing something right because the Hoosiers pick up another commit in the class of 2026. We'll talk about him and why it's important right after this here on Locked On Hoosiers. All right, final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Thank you again so much for being here, truly making this your first listen or your first watch every single day. And if you can't tell, we're having a lot of fun over here. And when there's good content in June, it makes life a whole lot better, right? And so we appreciate you being here. If you've missed any of our previous episodes, make sure you go back and listen to those or watch those, however you're taking in this podcast today, right? If you're on audio, that's Spotify or Amazon, Apple, Pandora, however you find us, go back and catch up with old episodes. We've talked about Allmond. We've talked about Suigo. We've talked about this roster and previous football recruits as well. And so be sure you go back and catch up with all of those. And if you are listening on audio, I would like you to make sure you're following us on there. Send this to somebody who's not already listening, okay? If you have this on Spotify and you know somebody that listens to podcasts on Spotify, copy the link and send it to them. Somebody that's not already listening, I would appreciate you doing that. And then if you're on YouTube, make sure that you have liked this video, leave your thoughts down in the YouTube comments, and then subscribe to the channel. Those 3 things help us out tremendously and really do appreciate your support of the show, okay? Really does mean a whole lot to me. All right, so as we go through our final segment here, we're talking some football because Kurt Cignetti is the hottest coach in America on the recruiting trail right now. I had to make sure I had that last part right. He is on fire in terms of recruiting. And we said this yesterday, over the last 2 or 2.5 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks at this point, we have not gone 2 days without landing a commit for football. And here we are. We did it again. We add the first running back to the class of 2026. He is a top 50 running back. 247 says he is the 50th ranked running back. I've seen him a little bit higher, a little bit lower on some other sites, but as I've told you, that's just the site I use. I've been with them for a long time, and they do a really good job with recruiting stuff. But you add in Jarion Campbell, who is a 3-star running back in the class of 2026. Here's what's important here. He's 5'10", 190 pounds, fast as lightning. He is from the state of Georgia. You go down to the South, get somebody who is climbing the recruiting rankings, one who has gotten love from Florida, Auburn, Georgia, Alabama. Those teams wanted this kid. He had set up some of those official visits, was in the process of getting more visits set up with the Crimson Tide and with Kirby Smart down at Georgia. He said, nah, I'm good. I'll go to IU. They want me. They want me right now. I'll commit to the Hoosiers. Again, 5'10", 190 pounds. He's from Powder Springs, Georgia, ranked as the 50th running back in the class of 2026. I mentioned that he is really, really quick. Would like to see him get just a hair bigger, and I think he is going to be maybe I don't want to say a developmental piece because that comes off as a negative that he's not ready to play at this level, but I do think it takes a little bit of time for him to adjust. But if he does, he's going to be really, really good. And so the fact that you can go down to the South, get a big name player who all the big programs were at least extending an offer to, they at least wanted to see how it worked out, and they were going to use him for the exact same thing. He was not going to walk in and start at Florida, but they were hoping he comes in, develops, and becomes that dude down the road. He could absolutely do that at Indiana, or he could start right away and just get better even quicker rather than sitting behind all these other 5 stars that these other schools have that Indiana's just not there yet, right? That's the Hoosiers mindset. It has to be with this kid, with Jarion Campbell. Like I said, in the class of 2026, you look now at where Indiana ranks in these recruiting rankings, and these literally change several times a day. So don't take this and run to the office and just, plant your flag on this. These change all the time. But Indiana's still right around a top 25 class, no matter what site that you look on, no matter what rankings, 247, On3, doesn't matter, right? I mean, it doesn't matter whichever one you want to use, you can do that. And Indiana's 25th right now. They are a top 25 class across the board, 17 commits now is what the Hoosiers have, thanks to Campbell joining the squad. Just reminder, you've got guys like Timmons in there, Kavata Huggins in there, the defensive lineman. Is this our first? I believe it is. I have this written down and I lost it. No, he is hold on. Just let me look. I'm doing something. Let him cook. Let him cook. It's another state added to the recruiting class. I thought we'd already had a Georgia kid, but I couldn't remember. We've been recruiting several of them. Just couldn't remember if we had picked one up yet. So another state. Is that 9 now, I believe? 9 different states represented in this class of 2026. And folks, I don't think you understand how big of a deal it is. If you start making pipelines from Bloomington to the South, you start making waves and making paths and making trails and making connections with teams and schools and coaches and kids in the South, you better watch out, because then Indiana is going to be on an absolute tear. They are going to be a problem. We will be an issue on the recruiting trail in college football. And how can you not like what Kurt Cignetti and this staff are doing? It is commit after commit after commit. I mean, you're stacking a class right now. But I do want to say, there's a chance it doesn't all stick. That's just how recruiting goes. You could have a flip. You could have somebody go somewhere else. They pay more money. They find a better experience. They meet a new coach, whatever the case may be. That's going to happen. And especially at Indiana, where we are growing and growing as a football program, the more you get, the better ones you get, the more often they're going to go somewhere else. That's just how recruiting works. And is it common for a bunch of 3-stars to flip? No, not necessarily, but we're getting good 3-stars, and we're working our way to 4-stars, and eventually working our way to 5-stars as well. I know a lot of you are still wanting to hear about a quarterback situation, and I know we're going to get there eventually. We've talked about Luke Fay in the past. I think the Hoosiers are still working there and still trying to make more additions to this class, but the newest one is the running back edition with Campbell from down in Georgia, 5'10", 190 pounds, your first representative from Georgia and your first running back in the class of 2026. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers. Man, what a great show today. Lots of recruiting stuff going on for basketball, football, you name it. We have got it. And this month of June is wild. I told you it was going to be crazy. This is the month for recruiting for official visits in basketball, commitments in football, and it's all going to be right here at Locked On Hoosiers. Okay, so make sure you're following us on social media, on X. We post a lot of stuff on there. You're following us on your podcasting platforms. You're subscribed to us and have those notifications turned on across the board as well, okay? And we've got more coming for you here on Locked On Hoosiers. All right, so until next time, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.